Welcome to part 5 of the Back to Basics yoga series, an 8-part series that looks at common yoga poses and a little of the philosophy and mythology behind them. Today we're looking at the third warrior pose. There are 3 official warrior poses, and we're going to create a little bit of a warrior sequence building on warrior 1 and warrior 2. Today, warrior 3. So, if you have a yoga block, you can use it for your practice. Keep it at the side of your mat. You can also sit on your yoga block or sit on a rolled up blanket. Just make sure you're comfortable and your hips are higher than your knees. Let's get started. Sitting tall. You can close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, that's fine. Bring your gaze downward. Do whatever it is that you need to do to bring your focus inward. Rest your hands on your thighs, palms up, palms down, doesn't matter which. And take a long deep breath. With your exhale, just soften and sink into the support beneath you. Remember, you don't need to have your legs crossed. Simply sit comfortably and tall. Lengthening the upper body to fill all your body with your breath. Remember, a yoga practice is all about creating space in your body. Space for your breath, space for life, and freedom of movement. Relax your shoulders. And soften your jaw. With your next breath in, sweep your arms up. Bring your hands together overhead. Let your hands float down, palm pressing to palm. Again. Move your arms with your breath. Inhale, sweep up. Hands come together. Exhale, hands float down. One more time. Linger with your breath. Give yourself permission just to enjoy a breath and nothing else in this moment. Pause with hands together right in front of heart center. Check in with your body. Notice if you're getting any messages today. Just be aware. Feel the connection. Mind, body, and breath. Release your hands. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Let's come into table pose. We'll start there. So setting up your table pose, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Uncurl your toes, let the tops of your feet rest on the mat. Soften behind the heart, feel your shoulder blades sliding in towards your spine. Take a breath, and as you exhale, just sit back towards your heels. Inhale, bring yourself back up the table. Exhale, sitting back towards your heels. Just getting a sense here of how your knees are feeling, your shoulders, wrists, hips. Bringing movement, all of the big joints. Let's do that 2 more times, 2 more breaths. Exhaling, sinking down. Inhaling, slowly coming back, returning to table pose. 1 more. Now bring your knees wide, big toes together into touch. Let's take a wide leg child's pose. So pressing back as far as you can. With the knees wider, you can sink a little deeper. If you need some support for your knees, go ahead and place your rolled up blanket on the back of your thighs, or back of your calves. That'll give you some more support. Feel free to put extra padding under your knees as well. Walk your hands towards the top of the mat. Let your hips feel really heavy. Spread your fingers and plant your hands here. Anchor the hands, arms long, already feeling a stretch on the sides of the body from the tips of your pinky fingers all the way down to your hips. Take a breath. And with your exhalation, just kind of sink in. Come down onto your forearms and elbows. Feel the stretch deepen. Keep the hips as low as you can, as heavy as you can. With every breath out, think of sinking into the weight of your hips, sinking into the forearms and elbows. Press up slightly. Keep your right hand in place. Place your left hand on top of your right. Rest your head on your upper arms. Take a breath. And as you exhale, sink in once again. Really feel the stretch into the sides of the body here. A little deeper on the left side because the left side is a little bit longer than the right. Length in the sides of the body is really important. It's good for the posture, creates room for the spine to align all the vertebrae, and it's an excellent warm-up for our warrior sequence, where we need a long sides of the body. Press up slightly. Now left hand comes back to the left side of the mat, right hand on top of the left. Rest your head on your upper arms once again. Wait for your exhalation and sink in. Keep your breath even and steady. Notice if your breath is becoming a little more shallow and try to draw it a little deeper in. Bring yourself back to table pose. Toes curl under here. Take a breath. Soften through the heart with the exhalation, shoulder blades sliding in towards the spine. Ears in line with the shoulders, eyes just gazing slightly down. Take a breath. And as you exhale, just push back towards your right heel. Right hip kind of off to the side. Inhale, coming back to center. And as you exhale, push back to the left heel. Left hip hanging off to the side, just ever so slightly. Let's do that one more time to each side. Move with your breath. Mindful of your knees, feeling the stretch and lengthening in the outer hip, outer thigh as you sink down to that side. I lied. Let's do it one more time on each side. So 3 times in total, 3 times to the right, 3 times to the left. You can feel a little stretch too in the soles of the feet as you push back and your weight sinks into your heel. Back to table. We're going to lift the left hand, step your left foot forward, and then the right. Knees bent so your fingertips are on the mat, or you can reach for your yoga block. Use the yoga block for support under your hands. Please make sure there is support under your hands at this point in your practice. Take a breath. And as you exhale, just lift through the hips, keeping some softness in the back of the knees. Some length through the upper body as the crown of the head reaches forward. Breathe. Just breathe through the intensity of the stretch. Remember, Uttanasana, intense stretch in the back of the legs here. Bend your knees. If you're using your block, just move it off to the side. Step your right foot back. Just a regular walking step. Push all the way down onto your heel, coming into a warrior one stance here. So it's like your feet are on 2 different train tracks, 2 different skis. You're going to press onto your left thigh. Use both hands to bring the upper body up. Now keep the shoulders slightly forward so that you feel like your upper body is creating a diagonal line from your right heel to your shoulders to the crown of your head. And just look down at a spot in front of you here. Take a breath. As you exhale, relax the shoulders, relax your arms. Now keep the right heel pressing down, left knee pointing in the same direction as your left toes. Left knee is soft here. Now inhale and sweep up. Bring your gaze up with you, pausing in your warrior one pose. Keep the right heel pressing down to keep the back of the right leg strong. Warrior one. Now lean forward. Let your arms sweep down. Bring your left hand to the back of your left hip. Fingers pointing down towards your heel. Right hand to the top of your left thigh. Take a breath. And as you exhale, turn to look to the left. Use your right hand on your thigh to bring yourself a little more deeply into the twist, but not a huge twist here. Keep the right heel pressing down. So we're getting a really long stretch in the back of the right calf, the back of the right leg. And continuing to warm up the spine with a little bit of rotation. Soften through the shoulders and remember to breathe. Whenever you're in a twist, it's really important to bring your breath into the belly. So exaggerate the movement in your belly with every breath, and your breath will draw in. With your next breath out, release your twist. Keep the right heel down. We're going to sweep the arms out to the sides. Bring your gaze up. Bring the hands together overhead. Index fingers pointing up. Notice the baby finger that's on the outside, and then cross your thumbs. So my right baby finger is on the outside. I'm going to put my right thumb on top of my left thumb and reach with my fingertips. Remember, you don't have to look straight up at your hands. You just need to get your head out of the way a little bit so you can bring your hands together and maximize the length in your arms. Keep your gaze up. Remind yourself again which baby finger you have on the outside and which thumb is on the front. As you inhale, release your hands. And as you exhale, we're going to sweep all the way back down to the floor. All the way back down to the floor. And step the right foot forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, bend the knees, fold over your thighs. Relax your neck and let your head feel heavy. Just bending the spine the other way to make sure we're not always compressing with a back bend. Now lift your eyes, look down between your hands. Begin to lift the hips, lengthening the back of the legs. Reach the crown of the head forward. Find your tabletop, table back position. You can reach for your block if you like. You need support under your hands here. With your breath out, soften at the elbows. Deepen the bend at the hips without rounding through the vertebrae. Let your eyes wander where they want to go. Keep the softness in the back of the knees. Feel the intense stretch. Even with the knees soft, your legs do not need to be perfectly straight in a forward fold to feel the intensity of a stretch. If you're using your yoga block, place it off to the side. Soften your knees. Left foot steps back. Step back, just a regular walking step. Push all the way onto your heel, coming into a warrior one stance. Right knee is bent. Use your right thigh, place your hands on your thigh and just slowly press yourself up. Keep the weight slightly forward. You want to feel like you've got a diagonal line from your left heel to your shoulders to the crown of your head. Push down with the left heel. Lengthen through the back of the left knee as much as possible. Exhale, soften the shoulders, release your hands. And as you inhale, sweep up, just bringing your gaze straight ahead. Coming into the simplest version of Warrior One. Virabhadrasana. Breathe. Feel the length in the sides of the body, right? That child's pose that we did earlier paid off. You can feel the length in the upper body. Your next breath, as you exhale, bring your weight forward slightly. Return to that diagonal line position. Left hand to your right thigh, right hand to the back of your hip. Take a breath. And as you exhale, turn to look to the right. Just rotating through the shoulders ever so slightly, using your left hand on your thigh to bring you into the twist. Just a gentle twist, looking to the wall at the right. Nothing more than that. A little warm up for the spine. Re-engage the left heel. Push it down. Feel the intense stretch there in the back of the left calf. Here in the twist, you're going to exaggerate the movement of the belly with the breath to draw the breath in. Really get the diaphragm working here. Remember, the diaphragm is your breathing muscle. And like all muscles, it needs to be worked out and challenged. As you exhale, release the twist, coming back to center. Now inhale, sweep the arms up, bring the hands together. You're going to place the other pinky on the outside. It's going to feel peculiar. And the other thumb, so I've got my left pinky on the outside, my left thumb on the top. Gazing upwards, arms as long as they can be. The warrior rising up out of the mountain. Remember, Shiva was so angry at his father-in-law, he tore a dreadlock off of his head and threw it to the base of the mountain upon which he sits. And the dreadlock rose up as warrior Virabhadra. So think of that warrior rising up at the base of the mountain, punching through the soil. Now inhale, release your grip. And as you exhale, let's sweep down. Bring your gaze straight ahead. Lift onto the ball of your left big toe and step forward. Coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. Legs strong, feet hip distance apart. Little softness in the back of the knees, but legs feel strong and steady. Belly button drawing in. Rib cage balanced over top of the pelvis. Draw your shoulders up towards your ears, and as you exhale, roll them back, slide them down. Let your palms come forward. Just feel your base widening, right? As the palms turn forward, the base of the mountain widens. Crown of the head reaches up, and as the crown of the head reaches up, the chin just automatically tucks ever so slightly. Holding your mountain pose. Inhale, let's sweep the arms up. As you exhale, bow forward. Bend your knees on the way down, fingertips to the mat. Step your right foot back. Step farther back this time, longer than a walking step. Land on the ball of your right big toe. Now pivot on your right foot, drop your heel. Right foot is behind your left foot, they're in line. Right toes pointing to the right, left toes pointing forward. Bring your left elbow to your knee. Knee is over top of your left ankle. Use your left elbow to keep your left knee in alignment. Right hand comes to your hip. Now adjust through the upper body. Pull the right shoulder back, stacking right shoulder over top of left shoulder, over top of your left knee, over top of your left ankle. Take a breath, and as you exhale, turn. Bring your gaze upwards, coming into a side angle stretch. Now you can keep your right hand on your hip if you choose, or you can sweep the right arm up. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, sweep your right arm down towards your hip. Now bring your eyes with you. Follow your hand with your eyes. Look down as your hand sweeps down in front of you. Now as your hand sweeps forward, feel the stretch on the whole right side of your body. Begin to take your breath in as your hand returns to the upright position. Again, exhale, reach down beside your hip. Follow your hand with your eyes. Sweep down. Really lengthen and stretch. Use the support of your left knee. Inhale as your hand sweeps up. We're going to do that one more time. One more big circle. Exhale. Then you begin the inhalation as your hand sweeps down and up. Pause here. Feel your side angle pose for a moment. Now inhale. Exhale, sweep down. Right hand goes down towards your hip. Sweep up. Get ready. We're going to use the momentum of the breath, the movement of the arm to windmill all the way up into your warrior two pose. Gazing along your left arm reaching forward, same direction as your left toes. Right hand reaching back. Anchor your shoulders over top of your hips. Feel the work in the left leg, the left thigh. Whew! Feel the length in the sides of the body. With each breath out, send your energy downward, down through the legs. That's where you need your strength here. Breathe into the heart. So feel the breath drawing up into your heart. And as you exhale, reach back down. Inhale, and as you exhale, reach forward. Swing the arms back down. Left hand, then the right. Pivot onto your right big toe. Step your right foot forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Pause here, take a breath. Just rest your hands, your heels of your hands on your knees. Feels good, right? It's hard being a warrior. Exhale. Let's bring the fingertips back down to the mat. Right foot, left foot steps back. Land on the ball of your left big toe. Remember, this is a longer lunge step. Pivot on your left big toe, plant your heel. Left foot is behind your right foot. Left toes pointing to the left, right toes pointing to the top of your mat. Right elbow to your right thigh. Use your right arm to keep your right knee in alignment with your ankle. Left hand comes to your hip. Keep your gaze down for now. Find your alignment through the upper body. Right ankle, right knee, right shoulder, now left shoulder. Use your thumb on your hip to rotate open through the left shoulder. Take a breath, and as you exhale, just bring your gaze up. You define up. The wall, the corner, the ceiling, whatever that means to you. Straight overhead. If you're lucky enough to be outside, maybe at the top of a tree. You can keep your left hand on your hip or reach up. We'll stay here for a breath or two. Now moving with the breath. So you've got to get your left arm in the game if your left hand is on your hip for now. Take a breath in, reach up with the left hand. And as you exhale, reach down towards your hip. Keep the left arm long. Follow your hand with your eyes. As your left hand sweeps down, feel your breath beginning to draw in. Circle up, feel the reach long, reach on the left side, and then back to center. Again, breath in with the exhalation, reach back, hand towards the hip. Feel the breath begin to draw in as your hand reaches down. Feel the rotation through the upper body, the movement of the spine. Inhaling again, and then exhaling. Pausing here, a breath in, one more time. Exhale. Reach back, feel the range of motion in the shoulder, the movement of the vertebrae, the length in the side of the body, and the coordination of your breath, how it just feels natural to breathe at a certain spot. Pause here, holding your side angle pose. Here we go, getting ready to transition. Reach back with the exhale. Reach down, feel the inhalation, getting ready now, using the momentum of the breath to windmill up and the movement of the arm. Coming into Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Remember, this mimics the warrior unsheathing his sword and facing his foe. Daksha, in this case, Sati's father. Remember, Daksha was angry that his human daughter was in love with the god Shiva. So he did his best to keep them apart, even after they were married. Breathe. Now take a breath. As you exhale, release your hands. Bring your hands to your hips. You're going to rotate through the upper body, pivoting onto the left big toe. Pivot. Remember to find a focal point to help hold you steady. Soften through your left knee. Now push with your left foot as you step forward. And release. Find your mountain pose. Steady yourself on the top of the mountain. Sit quietly, steadily, just like Shiva. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, just sweep the arms around and down. Now bring the arms out and up with the breath in, and forward and down with the breath out. Let's do that one more time, complete sequence. Inhaling, sweeping forward and up. Exhaling, sweeping out and down. Take your time, take a breath. Remember, you've got your sword is unsheathed, so we have to take a moment to respond rather than react. Inhaling, sweeping out and up. And exhaling, releasing down. Bring your hands to your hips. Soften your knees. Step your right foot back. So a little bit farther than a walking step, but not as far as a lunge step. A little softness in the left knee, coming into a warrior stance, but remain on the ball of your right big toe. Lengthen through the back of your right leg. Keep your heel floating off of the mat. So getting ready to do a beginner version of Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. So shift your weight forward, just like you did in the beginning when we were coming into the twist. Get a sense you've got the diagonal line from your right heel to the crown of your head. Elbows pointing out side to side. Look down at a spot on the floor to help you hold your gaze. Shift your weight forward just a tiny bit more, till you feel like 90% of your weight is in your left foot, left leg. Hold your focal point, and as you exhale, push into the mat with your left foot, lengthen the left knee, and float your right foot off the floor. Or just let the top of your right big toe graze the mat. Keep your shoulders square to the mat, hips square. Toes spread on your right foot. Right leg long. Toes pointing down towards the floor. So the trick to balances are you have to keep the same amount of energy in the floating leg as in the standing leg, as if you were still standing on both legs. Now to come down, soften the left knee, land on the ball of the right big toe. Now bring your gaze forward. Lengthen through the back of the right knee and push down onto your right heel. Coming into a full warrior stance, but this time lengthen through the left leg now as well. Getting ready to come into a pyramid pose, a forward fold. Take a breath, and as you exhale, hinge at the hip. You decide how deep to come into your pyramid pose. Just feel the stretch. Notice how your body responds to this version of a forward fold. Keep your hips square, shoulders square, elbows out to the sides. Press up. Soften your left knee, step forward. Release your hands, find your mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart. Soft knees. Strong core. Rib cage over top of the hips. Shoulder blades sliding down your back towards your hips. Crown of the head reaching up. Soft shoulders, soft jaw. Inhale, sweep forward and up. Exhale, sweep out and down. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, sweep forward and down. Let's repeat that one more time. Breath in, sweeping forward and up. Breath out, sweeping out and down. Breath in, sweeping out and up. And exhale, sweeping forward and down. Hands to your hips. Step your left foot back. Longer than a walking step, landing on the ball of your left big toe. Right knee is soft. Shifting your weight forward, finding the diagonal line from the crown of your head to your left heel. Shift your weight slightly forward, a little bit more, until you feel like 90% of your weight is in your right leg. Keep the left foot active. Spread your toes. Keep the whole left leg active. Keep the back of the left knee long, shoulders square to the top of the mat. Find your focal point on the floor. Something to hold your gaze will help keep you steady. Take a breath. And as you exhale, push into the mat with your right foot. Lengthen the right knee. Float your left foot off the mat. Or graze the mat with just the tip of your left big toe. Keep the back of the left leg long, sides of the body long. So Warrior 3 is actually the warrior after he has swung his sword and the weight hurtles him forward. We'll do another version in a moment. Don't you worry. Now ready to come out? Simply soften the right knee, land on the ball of your left big toe. Shift your weight up, shoulders over top of hips now, and push down onto your left heel. Adjust your stance if you feel like your left foot is too far away. Lengthen through the right leg, both legs long. Take a breath. And as you exhale, hinging forward, coming into your pyramid pose. Feeling the body respond in another way. So when you have all your weight on one leg, your hip tends to tighten up on that side. That's what this stretch is good for. This pose will help stretch the outer hip in the forward leg. Breathe through the tightness. As you inhale, press up. Soften your right knee and step forward. Release your hands. Finding mountain pose. A couple of breaths here. Now getting ready to do a bigger version of Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Let's inhale, sweep the arms up to volcano pose. Bring your arms into line with your ears. Palms turned inwards so your thumbs are pointing out. Now draw the front of the rib cage in, draw the belly button in. Create some strength through the core. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Push down with the right foot from your hip. Push down the whole right leg into the sole of the right foot. Spread your toes on your left foot. Reach the sole of the left foot downward, but shift all of your weight onto your right leg. Whoo! And you're going to pretend you have a 2x4 down your back. So the spine, the vertebrae can't move. They need to stay long and tall. Take a breath. And as you exhale, hinge forward. Hinge at the hip. Stay long. Now bring your gaze downward. Find your focal point. Hug your left leg in towards your right leg. Keep your left toes pointing down towards the mat. Now you can have your left big toe just grazing the mat here. Takes a lot of core strength to keep the arms long. Now once your left foot is floating off the mat, feel free to deepen your Warrior 3 pose. Coming a little more fully into your Warrior 3. Long through the upper body. And then slowly seesawing back into place. Take a breath. And as you exhale, release your arms. Find your mountain pose. Take a breath. Oh, mountain pose is so good. Here we go, Warrior 3 on the other side. Arms reach up. Take your breath, make sure you're breathing, don't hold your breath. It's really important to breathe. As you exhale, push into the floor with the soles of the feet. Shift your weight onto your left leg. Push down, left hip, push all the way down. You can feel your right foot beginning to float off the floor. Spread your toes on your right foot. Remember, you got that 2x4 from your right shoulder down to your right heel. Take a breath. And as you exhale, hinge forward. Let your right foot float back. Just keep it slowly grazing the floor. Find your focal point. Stay long through the upper body. And once your right toe is floating off the mat, you can play with going a little bit deeper into your Warrior 3 pose. Stay long, reach with the right heel, reach with your fingertips. And then inhale, come back up, seesawing right back into position. Right foot beside the left foot. Don't surrender the arms just yet. Take a breath. And as you exhale, release the arms. Now we're back in mountain pose. Yeah. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bend your knees, bow forward. Bring your fingertips to the mat. Reach for your block or bend your knees enough that your fingertips are supported by the floor. Always support under the fingertips here. Relax your neck. Let your head feel heavy. Take a breath. And as you exhale, lift the hips. Feel the intensity of your forward fold. Reach the crown of the head down to the mat here. Lengthen through the vertebrae. Just that intention of reaching with the crown of the head, you can feel the length in the upper body. Take another breath. And with your exhalation, soften. Step your right foot back. Step back, a regular walking step. Push down onto your right heel. Left knee is soft so that your fingertips are still on the mat, or you're using your yoga block under your hands. Getting ready here, and bring your left hand to your hip. Take a breath. And as you exhale, push your left heel into the mat. Just lengthen the left leg as much as you can. This is a very intense stretch. Think of pulling your left hip back. So if the floor isn't available to you, keep your left knee soft and rotate. Pull the left hip back. Another modification. Remember where we were at the beginning, right here? With your right hand on your thigh, just lengthen through the left leg. Just be careful to keep some softness in the back of the left knee. And no pressure with your hand on your thigh. Same stretch. With your exhalation, soften. Release the twist. Just that tiny little twist, and step forward. Take a breath. Exhale, left foot steps back. Push down onto your left heel. Right hand to your hip. Softness in your right knee. Left fingertips on the mat or on your right thigh. Take a breath. And as you exhale, lengthen through the right leg. Adjust the intensity as you need to. And push your left hip back. Remember to keep softness in the right knee. Never locking the knees. A little rotation, a little turn to look towards the right. Just to find some more space here. Exhale. Soften the right knee. Bring your right hand down to the mat. If you're using your block, place it off to the side. Plant your hands and make your way to downward dog. Downward dog, that's going to be the next class. Week 6, part 6, downward dog. Lift your heels, bring your knees all the way down to the mat, and take a child's pose. Always support under the forehead. Can be the mat, can be your hands, can be your block, or your rolled up towel. Whatever works for you. Draw your breath deeply into your belly. Feel your breath moving through your whole upper body. Press up. Swing your legs round to the top of the mat. Legs straight out in front. Now bend your right knee. Slide your left foot to the center of your mat. in line with your belly button. Now hop your right foot over to the outside of your left leg. Make sure the sole of your right foot is grounded. Hug your right knee, so your right knee is pointing straight up towards the ceiling. Use your hands on your right shin to lift yourself really tall. Feel yourself rolling onto your sit bones. Spread your toes on your left foot to keep the weight on the back of your left heel. Take a breath. Left hand holds the front of your right knee, and as you exhale, bring your right hand to the floor behind you. Take another breath. Stay long through the upper body, and as you exhale, just sink into your right hip. Lengthen through the outer right thigh. Right? Just let your right hip feel heavy. Now take another breath. As you inhale, reach the crown of the head upwards. And as you exhale, turn to look to the right. Rotate through the shoulders. Use your right hand on the floor to help you rotate to the right. You decide the degree of the twist here. Left hand is firmly holding your right knee. Now you can choose to take this a little bit deeper by increasing the twist and turning to look behind you. Remember, always move into and out of a twist with the exhalation. So inhale, lengthen. Reach up through the crown of the head. Align the vertebrae. Exhale. Turn to deepen your twist if you choose. Rotating through the shoulders, rotating through the neck. You can even adjust your grip on your right knee by shifting your elbow, left elbow. So your left hand comes to the outside of your right thigh. Now measure your breath. Notice if your breath has gotten smaller. This is normal when you twist. The breath does get smaller. So here's your workout for your breathing muscle, your diaphragm. Draw your breath into your belly. You can really feel the movement of the belly when you're in a twist like this. Really expand through the rib cage and contract. Feel those lateral muscles helping you squeeze the breath out. Inhale, the diaphragm draws the breath in. And exhale. Let's do one more breath. And this time with the exhalation, just slowly release the twist. Head first, then the shoulders. There we go. Uncross. All right, back to the beginning. Ready to do the other side now. Bend your left knee. Slide your right big toe to the center of the mat in line with your belly button. Hop your left foot over to the outside of your right knee. Both hands on the front of your left shin. Toes spread on your right foot so your weight stays anchored on the back of the right heel. Use your hands on your shin as support to lift yourself really tall. The taller you are through the upper body will help deepen your twist. It also works really well for forward folds, which we'll explore in a moment. Right hand holds the front of your shin. Left hand comes to the floor behind you. With your exhalation, sink into your left hip. Really feel this length on the outer left thigh. This might be enough for you. You might not need to twist. You might be feeling an intense stretch right in the outer hip here. Remember, it's really important to stretch the hips after balancing on one leg. Take a breath. Crown of the head reaches up. Exhale. Turn. Turn to the left this time, rotating through the rib cage, the shoulders. Just look straight to the left. Breathe. Relax the shoulders. Firm grip on your left knee. Keep the left knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Now if you're ready to go deeper, feel free, use your exhalation. So you take your breath in, lengthen by reaching the crown of the head up. And as you exhale, turn to look to the left, looking slightly behind you now. Remember, you can wrap your right arm around your left knee, bringing your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Now work the diaphragm. Feel the breathing muscle, getting a little extra workout here, with the challenge of drawing the breath into the belly, past the twist, and then pushing it back out again. Exhale, release the twist. Start with the head, then the shoulders, and uncross. All right, legs straight out in front. Let's pull the thighs out, the buttocks out from underneath you, so you can really sit tall, really connect the sits bones with the ground below. Spread your toes, keep the weight on the back of your heels. Softness in the knees, grounded down through the calves, backs of the thighs. Tall. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Long reach up. Exhale, bow forward. Look beyond the mat to the floor in front of you. Let your fingertips come to the floor. Stay high on your fingertips here. We want as much length and space in the upper body as possible. Crown of the head reaching forward, up to the corner where the wall meets the ceiling. Take a breath. And as you exhale, soften at the elbows, hinging at the hip only, not rounding through the spine, not yet. Keep your gaze beyond the mat. Inhale, lengthen, crown of the head reaches forward. Exhale, hinging at the hip. Now pay attention to your breath. Inhale, feel your belly and rib cage pressing into your thighs. As you exhale, pull your belly and rib cage away from your thighs and then sink into the space left behind by your breath. Now bring your gaze down to your knees. Take another breath. And this time as you exhale, round through the upper back. Let your shoulder blades spread wide. Drop your chin towards your chest. Now this is where the intensity gets really tight here. It really increases because now you're stretching from your heels to the base of your skull. So going slowly so that you find the level of intensity that's suitable for you. Never too intense, but you want to feel like you're doing something. Pushing your range of motion. Always working a little bit harder. Slowly pull your chin away from your chest. Let your eyes slowly float towards your toes. And then use your hands to push into the floor. Walk your hands towards you as you come all the way up. Whew. Bend your knees. Bring your toes to the top of the mat. You can hold the back of your thighs, or you can do a Pilates roll down. That's up to you. Rolling down one vertebrae at a time. Take a moment here. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Really feel open through the front of the body. Walk your heels in. Take a breath. And as you exhale, just hug your right knee in. Give it a good squeeze. Release. A breath in. Exhale. Left knee hugs in. And release. Take another breath. And as you exhale, bring both knees in. Just both hands reaching for your kneecaps. Draw your knees in and then inhale. Push your belly into your thighs as you take your breath in and just lengthen your arms. And then exhale, draw your thighs in, kind of using your legs like bellows. Inhaling, creating space for your belly by lengthening through the arms. And then exhaling, drawing in. One more. Now keep your knees pulled in and release your arms straight out to the sides. And slowly, just bring your feet to the floor, just rolling. And tap your toes. And then hug your knees in. Yeah, it's a little work through the core here. Just feel the massage from the sacrum to the tailbone. Slowly. And tap your toes. And then bring your knees back. And one more. Don't hold your breath. Make sure you're breathing. And as your knees come in, reach for your knees. Give them a really good hug. And do some circles with your knees now. Just massage out through the lower back. Other way. And then release. Stretch your legs out. Coming into Shavasana, the hardest yoga pose of all. Relax the legs. Feel your weight now resting on your outer heels. Shoulder blades tucked under so your hands are beside your hips, a little farther away from your body so that you just feel open. Your hips feel open, hands are open, your heart feels open. And just breathe into the infinite space of openness, right? Because if you're open, your breath can be as big as you want it to be. As you exhale, just really sink into the support beneath you. Soften all of your muscles. Surrender your warrior now. You don't need to be strong here in Shavasana. You don't need to fight. Just be with your breath and feel the effects of your yoga practice on the body and the mind. Notice how steady your breath is and how ready you are just to be on your yoga mat. Notice how calm you feel and how you wish this moment could last. Now you can stay here in final relaxation pose for as long as you like. Or you can rise up with me. Begin first, little movements in the fingers and toes. And then bigger movements now into the hands and feet. Wrists, ankles, arms, and legs. Gently roll onto your right side. Use your right arm to support your head and neck. Linger here with one more breath. Press up. Come to a seated position. Sitting tall once again. Hands together at the heart. Take a moment to be grateful. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be loved. May all beings be at peace. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.